Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. I like to consider myself a true Renaissance man. As in, I jerk off to paintings from the 14th century. I once Jackson Pollock to Da Vinci. Welcome to the Guy and Harley podcast. I'm Guy Pigdon.
And I'm Harley Neville. Who was that? Genius. That penned that.
I just came up with that. That was going to be a status update.
Right.
But I sometimes
That explains a lot.
Sometimes want people to take me seriously on Facebook.
Right.
So in case you're wondering how long it would take to make a masturbation joke, 0 seconds on this one.
We opened with a masturbation
So we
joke.
can't do better than that.
So can you rap that? Because obviously
no.
you're rhyming century with
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci. Yeah. Hit it.
No,
Hit it.
You couldn't really do that.
Hit it, bro.
I like to consider myself a true Renaissance man, as in I jerk off to paintings from the 14th century. I once Jackson Pollock Da Vinci.
So it's not really a rap.
It was not a rap.
It's not a
It was
rap.
literally a statement.
We're supposed to open with a rap.
But
we didn't.
But we didn't do that.
Well, anyway, welcome along to the episode. Must be about episode 22 now. What do we got first?
Episode 22. Now, if you can hear, I'm very sick. I'm very ill. This one. This is the Guy and Harley Coldcast.
Are you going to call in sick tonight?
I can't. Well, I've called in sick once this week already.
Right.
And I don't. The problem is when you call in sick at my work, someone else just kind of gets slammed.
Right.
So I feel kind of bad calling in sick, especially at the last minute. You're meant to call in 6 hours.
You don't feel bad about taking your illness into work and giving it to these very same people.
Well, look, man, what do you want? You can't have both ways.
Exactly. So stay at home and just chill out.
But what they
Yes.
want is for you to come and work and make everyone sick.
Yeah.
So a lot of things to talk about on the podcast. This is a filmmaking podcast. This is a podcast about our lives, our journeys, our adventures in the screen trade.
And wanking.
Now, look, we talk a lot about on the podcast about piracy and how it's hurting us and how we've got problems, right? Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the brighter side of the internet.
Yep. Okay.
Now,
Extreme tube. That's where you going with that?
no.
All right.
Because, like, on the one hand, you've got piracy, which is killing the industry. On the other hand, you've got Kickstarter campaigns, which are kind of creating opportunities to make really awesome things that otherwise just would not be available. And what kind of often gets funded is these kind of niche things that are much better than the things that will get funded through the conventional ways.
Sure. So crowdsourcing, good. Internet is good.
And one of these things recently, they just had the big E3 Games Expo, which is the yearly, like, big game announcements place where all the big announcements get made. And there's a couple of gems came out of that one.
Yep. Final Fantasy VII being remade.
Yeah, which is, for me, or even for yourself, it's going to be quite a thrill.
Yeah, well, I'm all for it. I've heard a few people bitching online saying, "Oh, you can't remake Final Fantasy VII. It's a classic. What's the point? It's good enough as it was."
The point is, it looks like fucking ass.
Yeah, it looks like shit. Let's use our awesome computing power to make it more
Better.
modern and just better. Yeah. Just as long as I don't fuck around with it too much, because I heard that it's not going to be turn-based fighting.
No, I'm sure it will have I'm sure it will largely be the same game.
Well, it better have turn-based fighting, though.
Of course.
Because if it's that shitty live-action version...
No, it won't.
I heard some rumours, man.
Nah, they won't do that. But anyway, so that is one of the big things coming out of E3. The other thing was there's a game called Shenmue. And they announced the third in the trilogy, Shenmue 3. Now, the interesting thing about Shenmue is it originally came out on the Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, which was kind of a defunct, it was one in the console wars. It did not win.
No,
it had actually a lot of cool games on it. But it just never really took off and was sort of overtaken by the PlayStation at the time, the Nintendo 64. It came out before them both, but it just for some reason just didn't really stick around. But anyway, one of the marquee games for it, which they kind of pinned the hopes of the system on, was this game Shenmue, which was very good, but apparently cost $30 million to develop, which now that's nothing in video game terms, but at the time was incredibly expensive. And basically it was very well received. It got amazing reviews. I loved the game. I thought it was great. And in fact, it sort of set a template for games of that time. And like, you know, I don't know if we'd have games like Mass Effect 3 and stuff like that if it wasn't for Shenmue to begin with, kind of creating this new system where, and it was basically this game about a guy whose father is killed and he goes out seeking revenge, and he has to sort of live in the world, you know, in this small village, and then he moves on to Hong Kong, and sort of basically live a life. You got to go to work and stuff like that, and it was very immersive, incredibly immersive. And apparently they used the same streets as in Kowloon as they did in the real Hong Kong. And, you know, lots of details like that made it really great. The story is very cool. And it didn't really kind of boost the Dreamcast like they hoped. They released a second one to quite disappointing sales. Again, everyone liked it, but it just didn't sell. It wasn't like a huge seller. And the thing about the second one is it left on a cliffhanger. So that was 14 years ago. So for 14 years, there's been this, we want Shenmue 3 from this like very passionate, loyal fan base, you know, one of which is me, who was saying like, it's probably never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. It can't happen now. It's been too long. No one cares enough. You know, they can't get any that would have happened. 14 years is a long time in video games. That's like 3 generations of consoles almost. And then it was announced, that it was going to be a Kickstarter. And the thing about this Kickstarter, they were trying to raise $2 million. A lot of the perks were just the game. So, like, basically, you drop $40 and you get the game when it's finished.
Yeah.
Which is a great way to do it as well. And they were looking to raise $2 million. They broke the Guinness World Record for most rapidly reaching the goal of a video game in Kickstarter history. Which, you know, says a lot. And now, the last time I checked it, they're up to 3.3 million.
Right.
So they've smashed that 2 million that they're trying to raise. They've still got 28 days of the 30-day Kickstarter to go. So they're going to make much, much more than that, which is phenomenal. But I just thought that this is a fantastic reflection of what both a passionate fan base can do for you, but also sort of like this could be the future in terms of, you know, like for filmmakers as well, where essentially they're just pre-selling the film. They make, and it will cost a certain amount of money. They pre-sell it to all these fans. And, you know, that's how the sort of the smaller films are now made. So you still got your studio films, you still got that way of doing things, but all these smaller films become what Shenmue has done, which is like basically capitalized on this fan base to like do something great for the fans, and everyone kind of wins. The, you know, I think it is I can't remember.
Okay, sure. So the internet's good because Indiegogo helps us all fund things that we like.
Yeah, but that model of selling something before it's been made never existed. And this is like one of the best examples of it working. And so I think that gives me hope for the future of Pigville.
Right.
because, in 14 years, I survived a zombie holocaust too.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Hopefully it won't be 14 years.
Yeah.
A similar kind of thing to that, which is this whole idea of, a crowd of people taking control of their own destiny and sort of bypassing, the traditional methods in order to get games made or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that really is one of the greatest things about the internet, and it's actually, I was reading recently, it's in a bigger scheme than that as well. It's been compared to the print revolution, which was when the printing press became common, and suddenly the common person could get a hold of a lot more information, and it led to a whole bunch of revolutions around the world and so on, where people overthrew their governments. And now the internet is, and then we went to TV, but TV is all controlled by the governments and the corporations, and you see what they want you to see. But now, thanks to the internet, it's kind of like the second coming of that print revolution, where we can all choose what we want to communicate with each other and what we want to pay for, and all that type of stuff. So.
Well, yeah.
I'm essentially agreeing with you.
Well, I think it's just a very positive thing for the future of artistic creativity. Now, also, Jared Murray, long-time listener and DOP, had a question. He wanted us to talk about Kung Fury, which was another Kickstarter campaign. Now, basically, they were trying to raise $200,000 to make this half-hour short film, which was kind of like a homage to 1980s sort of action cop films, but with like cool visual effects stuff and, all that by these Swedish guys and the director David Sandberg. And they surpassed their goal as well. So they raised $600,000 for it. They said if they got to 1 million, they'd turn it into a feature, but they didn't get there, so they just released. And this started at the end of 2013 or early 2014. The Kung Fury has just been released online, so it's like a half-hour short. Have you seen it?
No.
You have not seen it.
Everyone keeps posting it on my wall,
and you have not bothered to look.
And basically, I haven't bothered to look.
16 million views on YouTube. Unadvertised. They said they give it away for free. They have. And again, the way that they're sort of making their money, or hoping to make their money, is through merchandising. They also had a tie-in song, True Survivor, with David Hasselhoff.
Right.
Did you watch that?
No.
Jesus Christ, man.
Boring.
It's the main fucking thing on the internet at the moment.
Yeah.
You haven't caught any of it.
No. Yeah, my bad.
So... anyway, also, I just wanted another stat on this one. The video, which has 16 million views, has 437,000 likes versus 7,000 dislikes.
Right.
It's a pretty good ratio. That's a lot better than our ratios.
Well, it depends on the production, but yeah. Some of our ratios are a bit whack on the thumbs up, thumbs down.
So I watched it. I thought it was very cool. I do think that it wouldn't have made a good feature. So it was good. It was funny. They did heaps of cool stuff. If you're a fan of like 1980s cinema, like I am, there was heaps of great references and stuff like that, and just had a very cool retro 80s vibe, which I love personally. But even in the middle section, you were kind of like, yeah, so get to the point already. And so I don't think, like, even the tone of it, the style of it, I'm not sure it would have sustained that, that actual feature film. But as a half-hour thing, it's great. Kung Fury. Check it out. If you're one of the only people on the internet that
hasn't seen it yet.
Was you and Harley are the only two people that haven't seen it.
I am. Oh, right, yeah. Well, I doubt Angie's seen it, and we've got a live audience tonight.
Has Angie seen it?
Angie, have you seen Kung Fury? It's a short film on the internet.
No.
Oh my god,
hasn't seen it.
3 people
Hasn't seen it.
But also wanted to say, like, so you got the video games, HD remake, Shenmue, both PS4 exclusives. Now there's no reason Xbox One. There's because we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
When we can upgrade to the next generation.
Because what do we got now?
We're 5 years behind. Yeah. We're a someone actually made a joke about it on one of our YouTubes.
Yeah, because we're using.
They're like, come on, guys, Xbox 360, really?
Yeah.
And we were like, that's what we got, man. That's it.
Oh, there's just no time for that type of gaming anymore, though.
Well, yeah, there isn't, unless you make time for it.
Yeah, but Yeah, well, exactly, which I don't.
But yeah, so with that coming out, I will be getting a PS4 along with the Fallout 4 announcement. All those things lead to PS4 has to be now. Mm-hmm. It's done.
Well, cool, man. I hope you do get a PS4 and I'll play it on occasion.
What have you got?
Well, so Guy recently made a horrible mistake on YouTube. Deleted out by mistake. Yep. Deleted. So we've got our Lord of the Rings series. It's 4
Classics.
short, 4 skits about gay hobbits.
Pigville classics,
and they are Pigville classics. A lot of people like them. You know, a lot of people have seen them. And we had to edit episode 4. Yep. We had to re-edit episode 4 because there was someone in it that, for her work, could no longer be in it, and
couldn't have certain things
scenes in it, and so
your magic is very powerful, my lady.
Yeah, they had to. So we had to cut out the blowjob scene.
Yep. So we had to cut out the blowjob scene in Lord of the Rings.
We had to cut out the elven blowjob scene in our Lord of the Rings parody, and so because of that, Guy had to delete the old version and put up the new edit. But he accidentally deleted episode 3 as well, which is one of our more popular episodes, which had like, I don't even know how many, like it must have had like 100,000 views, or I don't know. And anyway, he deleted it just through sheer incompetence, fat fingers.
And I was in a hurry.
It was in a hurry. And so he deleted it. So he lost all those thumbs up, all those views, all those comments, all that history. And it's now being re-uploaded. But anyway, I didn't really think anybody would notice. You know, I was kind of like, well, you know, I mean, we uploaded it like 6 years ago or something, you know. And then, like literally the day that it happened, all right, we got a message on one of our other videos, a comment on one of our other videos from Ben75490. That's a YouTube user. Yeah. Pigville, why is calling of the Ring Part 3 and 4 removed? Part 3 was my favourite video on YouTube. The fans are baying for blood. Yes.
They're angry.
It didn't take long either, I swear to God. After it was gone, this guy must have he must watch it like every day.
Well, there's the thing, like this guy must jerk off to it a lot.
He must.
He really must. And I guess there's the thing, you know, like the thing about the calling of the ring is we can all relate to that person that doesn't like us. Yeah. We can all relate to this unrequited love for someone who doesn't really give a shit. You know, we've all got that one person in our lives who, you know, we've pined for and sought and hoped that they might like us back, and they haven't.
Yeah, well,
they haven't. And so, you know, I think a lot of people can relate to the gay Hobbit Lord of the Rings parody for that reason.
Yeah, well, we also had a bit of feedback as well. Paige Hobson on Facebook said, I had a dream that I was on a Spielberg movie set and there was a giant I Survived a Zombie Holocaust poster up, and Spielberg casually promoted how good it was and said he wanted my autograph. So that's good, Paige, that we've infiltrated your dreams.
Yeah, well, look,
the spam campaign is clearly working.
This, in theory, could happen. I mean, it's probably not going to happen today. Spielberg's probably not going to catch this film today. And look, but he could watch it and he could love it, and he could, as a little nod to the film because he likes it so much, put it in one of his films, and then he could, while you're casting his film, casually mention to you how much he enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he would ever ask for my autograph.
He would. That's the only bit that's unrealistic about the whole thing.
I don't think he asks any of his actors for autographs.
No, I think that's the implausible thing of this dream. But everything else, that's totally feasible.
So good.
Anything else?
Well, I voiced over a promo at my work. So my voice went out on TV doing some voice work. So that was pretty exciting.
What did you say?
Oh, I was like, the something or other cup in digits 9. That's the amount of horses he'll have to beat out to get to, whatever, to the race,
Right.
10, the amount of weeks leading up of hard training, some bullshit, I can't remember. but it was cool, and I got to put on my presenter voice.
Have they asked you back?
They have actually.
Really?
I haven't done one yet, but they've said they're going to put me on the list of approved voiceover artists.
So that's your new career now.
That's my new career, but I'm not getting paid. I'm just, I'm just in the building, and they're just making them every day, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I work in broadcast television.
Right.
It's my day job.
Well, look, I want to talk about a couple sad things this week on the podcast.
Your love life.
Nice one. Good on you.
The fact that you're 32 and indebted and single.
Happily single.
Live in a tiny little room. There's all sorts of sad things we could talk about. Where are we going?
2 sad deaths
all right.
in the industry today.
Okay.
So this week, Christopher Lee died at the grand old age of 93. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, what we probably know him from is Star Wars, Count Dooku.
No.
Count Dookie. Or, of course...
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, or Lord of the Rings.
He's Lord of the Rings.
I was getting to Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Just give me 1 second to talk.
Yeah, well, keep it real, man. People know him from Lord of the Rings.
Or, Saruman in...
Count Dookie.
Lord of the Rings. And so he passed away. Which is sad. Obviously, he's old, so it's good that he lived really long and had a legendary career. I thought there was a couple of quotes that I reflected upon, because when people get to a certain age, you kind of just start wondering, like, when are they going to die? And I would often have this thought about Christopher Lee. I'd be like, fuck, man, he's such a legend. He's still going. Like, I mean, he was in the most recent Hobbit film, playing Saruman again.
Right.
10 years after... so he was 80 the first time he did it. He was 90 the second time he did it. And he's fucking rocking in like one of the biggest, films of the year.
Yeah.
Which I think is fucking cool. But, I did have this thing. I was like, when is he I think he's just going to keep going. Sometimes you just think, you're like, they're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
If they're not going to stop now, then they can't be stopped.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he did pass away. But I remember that there was an interview with regards to Lord of the Rings, where he said, he was like, this is when he was sort of 83, I guess. He was like, look, I just want to see the end of the trilogy. I want to see Return of the King. I want to live past Return of the King and see that come out and enjoy that. Mm-hmm. And not only did he do that, he lived another decade and got to star in the next fucking Hobbits films, which is fucking pretty awesome. In terms of life goals, he nailed that one. And also he had a sort of a legendary career. He's been in a lot of Tim Burton films. He was in Hammer horror movies. And we might have a little soundbite from him. Christopher Lee, I take my hat off to you, sir. Good night and good luck.
Smoke rises from the mountain of doom. The hour grows late, and Gandalf the Grey rides to Isengard, seeking my counsel. For that is why you have come, is it not, my old friend?
And the next person who died. Mm-hmm. Now, do you know who Dusty Rhodes is?
Yeah, the big fat wrestler with a polka dot. Polka dot spandex.
You have some really good, fond memories of this man.
yeah. But it was like yellow and black, wasn't he?
Yeah, so basically Dusty Rhodes, a.k.a. the American Dream, he also passed away. He was much younger. He was 69.
Right.
And he may have been ill for some time. We don't really know, but apparently he had a fall at his home and he died. Now, not that many people know Dusty Rhodes, I don't think, in this generation, because he came from the 80s. He was a sort of legendary wrestler in the 80s, and in fact was more of a legend in the WCW NWA than he was in the WWF. When you saw him wearing the polka dots and coming out with Sapphire,
right?
That was when they kind of tried to make his character a bit more comedic, and like he'd come towards the end of his run,
right?
But I think the sad thing about, or the great thing about the man was that he was a fat guy.
Yeah.
He was a fat, quite out of shape, not remotely good looking guy who made it in an industry that is basically very looks orientated, looks obsessed.
Yep.
They talk about females, being objectified and all that in Hollywood. Well, males are objectified the shit out of in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not in good shape, good luck getting anywhere.
Yep.
And he sort of made it to the top of the mountain. And he also made it to the top of the mountain with, he called himself the working man, the American dream. And so his whole gimmick was based on, like, he was kind of just a blue-collar guy, hustling, and he was fighting for all those types of people, the coal miners, and all that stuff, which I respect because, one, it sort of laid a blueprint for kind of regular guys to be these big stars. And also, I'm a blue-collar guy. I'm a working man. Mm-hmm. I've got dreams. So, Dusty Rhodes, we may play a little clip for you too. Thank you very much. Signing off to you, sir, but I take my hat off. Your Harley's fondest memories of you and the polka dots. But yeah, so two big deaths.
Moment of silence.
R.I.P.
He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times are when the auto workers are out of work and they tell them go home. And hard times are when a man has worked at a job 30 years. 30 years. They give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, hey, a computer took your place, Daddy. That's hard time. That's hard time. And Ric Flair, you put hard times on this country by taking Dusty Rhodes out. That's hard time. And we all had hard times together. I admit I don't look like the athlete of the day supposed to look. My belly's just a little big. My honey's just a little big. But, brother, I am bad, and they know I'm bad.
Now, I did also, to lighten the mood now,
Yep.
open up the Tinder files.
Okay. I'm ready. It's been happening on Tinder lately.
So, on Tinder, right, I went on a Tinder date with someone who had multiple Tinder dates scheduled for the day.
For the day?
For the day.
Right.
I was her second Tinder date.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Well, why would she tell you that?
Oh, I don't know. A moment of...
A lapse in judgment?
Yes.
Perhaps.
I just thought it was funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. You've got hundreds of guys wanting to Tinder you.
Yeah.
Fucking line them all up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Do it like a speed date type of thing.
I guess, you're much better to be the second guy than the first guy, because the second guy,
Whoa.
You've got the rest of the evening,
That's true, but
you're much more likely to be
the first
bumping
guy
uglies.
can charm her.
Yeah.
Can charm her and then sort of basically negate the second. The second guy don't even get in there.
Yeah, but she's not going to be having sex with him.
Well,
I
maybe
doubt.
maybe she's like, this guy is amazing.
Meeting during the day
This
and stuff.
guy is like, just, I love this guy. There's no,
Yeah, and
there's
then
no
she can
point in
have
having this-
sex, and then later on she meets with you. She have sex with you while thinking about him. Because it's the evening and you've had a couple of drinks. It works.
But I just thought, I think that is a reflection of Tinder, that girls are in such high demand, they've got to schedule multiple dates for a day, for the day they have spare, just to get through all the guys that are Tindering them.
Yep.
Trust me, it ain't the same the other way around.
No, well, you get to schedule your dates four weeks apart.
Yeah. Bi-weekly.
Yeah.
I schedule my dates bi-weekly.
Oh, bi-weekly's all right. 2 a week. That's all right.
Oh, well, I meant like 1 and 2 weeks.
Oh, right. 1 every 2 weeks. Yeah. Got it. Well, like biannual means
Yeah.
twice in a year, doesn't it? Or am I crazy? I don't even know.
So, yeah, that's what's going on Tinder this week.
All right. Good.
What else?
We went to see a film recently. We got invited to the red carpet premiere of the film that we were talking about last week, Someone to Carry Me,
That's right,
which
we
is
did.
quite a big coincidence because
It was really weird.
last week here we were on the show talking about it. If I recall correctly, I made snide comments saying that he had copied what we were going to say.
A lot of smart remarks
I had
made
lots
by
of-
you.
yeah, I had lots
Very
of-
disrespectful.
Lots of smart remarks, and then I got to meet the guy, and all I could think was about all those rude remarks I made before I had, met him or seen him
And
or
what an
seen the
asshole
movie.
you were, because he was so nice.
What a piece of shit I am. Now, to be fair, you're allowed to say mean stuff about strangers. There's nothing wrong with that.
So saith all of the internet.
So
That is one of the founding principles of the internet right there.
So go back and listen to last week's episode if you didn't catch it, and tune in to hear what horrible things I said. But so we went and watched Someone to Carry Me. And it was good, and we didn't know it was a red carpet event. We just thought it was like some little private screen, so we showed up all bedraggled and
we did
looking like shit.
We looked like physical homeless people.
Yeah,
we're both real scraggly and unshaven.
Yeah, my hair's real long and grey.
Yeah, and
so is guys.
Mine is too. And we were not dressed in casual hobo-ish clothes. Yeah. That we bum around the house.
I had a hoodie on. I literally had a hoodie on.
Yeah, I had a hoodie jacket combo, like a hobo who was, staying warm for winter.
Yeah, which is what you were doing.
Exactly. So we showed up there, and it was all everyone was in suits. There's all these beautiful women parading around
and
in their
very
finery.
Fashionable, sort of high
Chic.
fashion. Yeah.
And then there was us, these smelly,
and we were representing our brand, Pigville. Crap.
Everyone was there was definitely some full on frowns, and then we're like, oh yeah, we're the Pigville guys, and people did warm to us.
To be fair,
people did warm to us.
I'm starting to feel like a bit of a rock star lately. People in the biz,
people were tolerant,
seem to have actually heard of us,
of our appearance,
a little bit, and it feels good. It feels good after 16 years of being hated. Yeah. 16 years of neglect.
Well, they may still hate us, but they know us.
But at least they've heard of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good.
And they had a bit of wine.
Yeah, they had free wine, they had free popcorn, they had big posters, big expensive movie posters made, and yet this was a very low budget film, so I have no idea where all that came from or how he did that.
But it was good.
Yeah. It was. So well done to Samuel Thomas, who was the producer actor of that one.
Yeah.
Look him up. Look up Someone to Carry Me on Facebook.
Yeah. They even had a Someone to Carry mat.
Yeah.
They had a bar mat. Nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, when I watched that, the first thing that it did was inspire me. I was like, man, you can do a lot. When you don't have much, you can still do a fucking lot.
Because the production had a lot of scope. It had a lot of scenes. It had a lot of, locations.
Gangsters.
A lot of actors, a lot of extras.
Nice houses.
A bit of action as well. And this was all shot for very little.
Gunplay. Fighting, stunts.
And it all looked very technically sound as well.
Yeah. I was like, man, I was like, yeah, this is the future, man. You can't let funding bodies or people decide whether you're going to make films. And it should not, obviously you are going to be limited by your budget to a degree, but it shouldn't be completely limiting in the way that we sometimes see it or think of it as. So, it just made me want to sort of get on down to the old edit suite and start cutting older.
Yeah, well, you should do that, and you should start with the scene that I'm in, because I want to put together a show reel. So if you
already done that scene,
well, yeah, it's done, but you could just grade it and stuff so that I can use it in my show reel.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath.
If you could just prioritize that, please.
Yeah, so that was cool. Now, maybe you should try and find this on Facebook. You got trolled on Facebook by Liam Hegarty, our loyal listener.
Did I?
Yeah, well, of the photo of you pointing to the video clip of you outside the Academy Cinemas. Do you remember that?
Oh, and he said this is...
Yeah, well, we should read it.
Well, all right, but I don't really think it was... So here's what I posted. Yeah. I posted a picture of me next to a still frame of me in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and it's 4 years later, and I've aged considerably in the picture. And I wrote, I haven't aged a day since we shot this. Winky face. And then...
Winky face being very important here to establish.
Yeah, I'm clearly joking. Yeah. And then Liam Hegarty writes, is that the star of the movie's dad? That's not even funny. That's my joke. I've already done it. The joke is I'm old. And then he followed up without
what I like.
And then he followed up with a second hit,
A second troll.
a second one, establishing it again. Who's that? So, and then he says, "Who's that bald old?" horribly hairy guy standing beside that picture of that young go-getter with stars in his eyes.
A couple of likes on that one. I think maybe one of those likes is me, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy your reply to this as well.
Yeah, we get it. We get it, Liam. I'm old. Your first comment, in which you suggested that I was my own father, was quite sufficient to get that gag across.
I think your reply is the best. I enjoy. That was very funny to me. Your reply.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad my old face is a source of.
So check that photo out if you're on Facebook.
So if you're on Facebook, add me, Harley Neville.
Yep.
Although realistically, if you're listening to this, it's because you're on my Facebook.
Potentially, yes.
So yes.
So that happened. Now, I guess while we're on the subject of the zombie film, did just sell out.
Yeah. So we were trying to sell 96 tickets to confirm a tug screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust here in Auckland, and not only did we get it, we then went on to sell out the rest of the tickets
We
in
smashed
the
it.
cinema. So that is all sold out, but fear not, because I have sent an email asking if we can go up to a bigger cinema.
Right.
So
I don't know if that's a good idea personally, but
what are you talking about? Like, if we can get another 10 people in there, it's still worth it.
I guess so. But there's nothing like the packed out cinema.
Yeah.
As opposed to the half full giant cinema.
Yeah, but if it's packed out with 120 people, that's really not a very big cinema. Like the Academy Cinema, that was holding 210.
Right.
So this must be the tiniest cinema in the world. If it's sold out with 120 seats, that's pretty tiny.
We have but essentially, so we've sold out Dunedin, Christchurch.
Yep. Two Auckland
Aucklands,
screenings,
and now this third one.
Yeah, and then the other screenings were busy as well. They weren't like the other Wellington and the other Auckland screening were like pretty full.
Yeah,
so
and that
feels good.
It warms my heart, to be honest.
But let me tell you something about here's some inside information, is that whoever organises the tug screening gets 5% of the take.
Yep.
That's the rule. That's how it works. So if you want a screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust in your city, you request it, and as long as you get the pre-sales, a certain amount of pre-sales on your seats sold, then you take a 5% cut. But the thing is that Guy and I are the ones at the moment that have been thrashing the shit out of this on Facebook. I've been
messaging people,
going on websites, begging. I've been putting my own money behind the ads on the credit, on the credit card Facebook ads and stuff like that, to try and fill up these cinemas. So really going hard, like sharing everyday content, blah blah blah, creating content, all the rest of it. And yet, whoever it is that requested the screening, which is not us, is the one that's going to get 5%. So. It's bullshit.
It's kind of crazy
because
the screening was set up and then like 5 tickets were booked out on it.
So whoever requested the screening bought 5 tickets,
and then we moved 115.
Yeah.
Now you see there's somewhat of disparity here, and someone is getting a little chunk of change in his pocket, and it ain't us. It's not us.
And it sucks because like Dunedin, we didn't organise it, but we went hard on the promoting on Facebook. Christchurch, we didn't request it, but we went hard on the Facebook, and now this Auckland screening, we didn't request it, but we went hard on the Facebook. Other people are taking the 5.
Well, I guess to be fair, I guess we should get used to other people making money off our films.
Yeah,
because it's probably going to be a real trend.
Yeah, I'd say it is. But I've had someone message me saying they want to do a Timaru tug screening.
Yeah, right.
And I said, go for it. I said, let's do it. Because I think that probably in Timaru, the minimum amount of pre-sales would be fairly low. Hopefully. You'd hope. So, that could be another screening. But so anyway, we'll be yelling about that on Facebook. And this person, whoever it is, will be taking 5%.
But yeah, like I wasn't sure we were going to sell out this most recent Auckland screening because we already had so many here.
Yeah.
And I was really in complete doubt. I was like...
I was quite doubtful as well.
I was like, shit, man, this isn't even going to happen. Like, we've used up all our contacts. We've used up all our people. You know, there is no fucking way that anyone gives a shit about this film and wants to see it. And I was proved wrong very happily.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like, I was like, fuck, man, that is so cool. That we managed to get another 100 people to see this film, and they're going to see it the right way too, because you know it's meant to be seen in cinemas, not really for your DVD or your VOD. You know, that's fine, but it is truly an experience,
not to affect the sales
with an audience on the big screen. You know, and that was always the way I imagined everyone. And so now, you know, what we can say is like, you know, if you take into account the festivals. And then you take into account, you know, like all the people that have seen it in the various screenings here, you could definitely say over 1,000. Mm-hmm. So you could say thousands have seen it in the cinema.
In cinema, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, easily, because, you know, it was 210 seats each night for the opening night and the second night, right? So that's 400.
Yep.
The Dunedin screening was 400 people. The original Dunedin screening,
I forgot about that
was
one.
400 people. So that's 800.
Yep.
The other Dunedin screening I think was around 150-ish, and same with the Christchurch, 150-ish.
Or 100. Yeah, 100 I think ultimately went.
Oh yeah, 102 I think it was. Yeah. And then there's also been a few other cinema screenings in Wellington and all that stuff we don't really know the numbers of.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean easily probably close to 2,000.
Thousands.
1,000.
So that's awesome. So thank you anyone that is still supporting the film, is doing it big. We love you. We will not kill ourselves because of you.
Yes. So, well, not this year.
Exactly, not this year.
But maybe when Older comes out.
Yeah, well, it'll be very interesting to see how well Older was received. But I'm just dreaming of that in 14 years' time, where we start the Kickstarter for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust 2, and we smash the $2 million threshold, and you play Wesley. Yeah. Literally almost 20 years, but I'm 100% doing nothing. You will just have makeup on and we'll try and light you nicely. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, well,
so
let's do it.
Just maintain yourself.
Yeah, don't get too fat.
For the next 14 years, maintain yourself, please. Yeah, and we will do that. Yeah. And we will not acknowledge that 20 years have passed in between films.
I'll only be 46.
Look, they did it in Back to the Future, you know, 5-year gap between the first one and
but
the
5
second
years
one.
and 14 years. And also, when we filmed, I was playing sort of a 23-year-old. That's always in my mind. I imagine 23. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Wesley
I'm
was
pretty
23.
Sure Mate of City was 23.
Right,
and then,
but in reality, I was 27. Yeah, turning 28. Yeah. And so that was, you know, like there was a bit of a gap there between. I was supposed to be kind of fresh out of film school, and here I was in my late 20s. Yeah. But you know, we pulled it off, and it was fine. But with every year that passes, it becomes more and more difficult to really think that I could be Wesley again. Well, I could be Wesley, but I could be Wesley in a story that continues a few years later, not one that picks up directly after the end of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust 1.
But that's the real interesting story, you see.
Yeah.
So you know,
well, back to the drawing. Do some writing. Write a scene where the North Island gets overrun by zombies, and I don't know. Wesley's got to fight them off.
Now, speaking of zombies, I watched a zombie film the other day.
Yes.
Called Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard.
Right.
What does that title make you think?
That there's some people that live in a graveyard full of dead elephant bones, like something you'd see in like The Lion King, that you know, that boneyard they have in The Lion King. You know, but there's zombies in there, and there's people hunting the zombies through this boneyard.
Well, that doesn't really happen.
Right.
But basically, my interest was piqued in this film because I read an interview with the director where he said basically, like, I don't really like zombie films. I'm not really a fan. And I feel like it would be cheap to make a zombie film. And then he was basically presented, you know, some money to make a zombie film. And it actually had to have... Will you fucking stop that? Jesus Christ, man, that's unprofessional. Harley is putting coal in the fire as opposed to being available for me to engage with on the podcast.
Yes, Guy, I need to continue maintaining the fight.
You're in a t-shirt.
Yeah, but
can-
but if I let it die, then I'm fucked. The whole thing has to start again. You got to maintain the fire, bro.
Angie onto it.
Angie is my princess, and she's in bed, and she's got blankets over her. She's watching something. She's got headphones on. I would never disturb her. So
Trying to do a fucking podcast.
I go and put some coal on the fire.
Coal on the fire.
Speaking of unprofessional, don't you have work in 9 minutes?
I do. So this is probably going to be the last topic. But basically, so he said, I didn't want to make a zombie film. I don't like zombie films.
Okay.
I was given money to make a zombie film.
Yeah.
But there was a few catches. One, the guy, one of the producers that was funding it, the kid had to be in it. Mm-hmm. He had to be one of the main guys.
Yeah.
This kid was a paintball whiz. He was like the national paintball champion. Mm-hmm. So there had to be paintball in this film. So this guy's gone from saying, I don't want to make a zombie film, to completely selling out and making a zombie film with ridiculous circumstances. So I was kind of curious. I was like, well, what the fuck is this film going to be about? I watched the film.
Yes.
It is not good.
No.
For many reasons, but you can see that the guy, if you don't appreciate the genre you're working in to a degree, you're not going to make something good. Because
it just makes sense.
You just don't. If you don't like this stuff, then how are you going to do it faithfully for all the people that do like it, which is who you're fucking making it for?
So it was shit.
It was not good.
Right.
There was some CG zombie reindeer.
Right.
That ran through the
CG zombie reindeer.
And CG zombie
Who saw
fish.
that on paper and thought it was a good idea?
Well, it was never going to work. There was a lot of sort of zombie fighting where one person was shooting, clearly, in a completely different take. And then the zombies were getting hit in a completely, so they'd shot it at two different times. There was no relation between the two. And the kid who was the guy, the paintball champion, who got a free pass because his daddy was funding it, was not good.
Yeah, well, of course he wasn't.
He was not 100% terrible, but he was kind of like a real pretty boy, not really for this zombie apocalypse that they were living in, and he had a kind of a very girly voice,
right?
And so it was hard to take him seriously as a badass guy because he looked like he was going to be on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy,
Right.
And not that gays can't be badasses.
Well, yeah, but if you're effeminate, you're not going to be the action hero,
exactly.
Are you?
And so, it was not good, but it made me think of a couple of interesting things, which we talked about. The bald man's equality movement.
Yep.
Which we mentioned.
Yep. What,
in Hollywood.
There's no bald men in this film?
No, there is, but I made some interesting
But he
notes.
plays some sort of disgusting pervert. He's bald, but he plays a rapist.
No.
Let me guess. He's the guy that dies first because after saying some pervy things.
Well, no, actually, he did play a heroic character. It was your man Billy Zane.
Right, yeah. Poor bugger.
Yeah.
See, him losing his hair killed his career.
Well, this is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, basically, he was flying high.
Yeah.
Titanic.
He was hot shit.
Titanic.
Mummy, the Mummy.
Phantom.
The Mummy? He's in the Mummy,
nah,
right?
he's not in the Mummy.
Oh, who's the guy from the Mummy? I always get that guy mixed up with that guy.
They look kind of similar.
Yeah.
But no, he's not in the Mummy.
Oh, right.
He was also the Phantom. He was one of the first superheroes before superheroes.
Yeah.
Now, that film probably didn't do him any favors, but the point was, he
was getting cast.
But Billy Zane was the man, he was in the biggest film of all time.
Yeah.
Right? Up until that time. And then he just fell off the radar. What happened? And he was like, well, look, I got divorced. I had to take some shitty... some shitty jobs, and that's kind of what happened. But did it, or was it really truly that he went bald?
Yeah.
And that's it for him.
Didn't he also get fat?
His career was, no, he didn't really get fat, although he was a bit chubby in this one.
Right.
But I think it reflects what we were talking about. Discrimination in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Billy Zane was hot shit. He lost his hair. Then now look at him. He's in Zombie Killers.
Yeah.
And not only that, because I made a special note of this one, because he was rocking the baldy, right? Except he wasn't rocking the baldy, because they gave him a ridiculous kind of sheriff's hat to cover up the fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, bald Billy Zane can't even get respect as a baldy in Zombie Killers.
Yeah.
They'd rather conceal it because they don't believe a badass sheriff can be a bald guy.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for you.
It's not looking good for me. I tell you what.
Well, you should have just this is what I don't understand.
Well, why don't you just get the hair, like, if you can afford the hair, growth and implants and shit, I think nowadays they can do it and making it look pretty damn convincing. I think it's pretty effective nowadays.
Yeah, but it is quite a gross thing to have someone peel off your scalp and thread hair through it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's maybe he's cool
Something you actually...
with going bald.
Something you told me years ago or really stuck with me.
Really?
What? Wait, what? Really? You were listening to me?
I'm glad something did.
Which was... I think we might have been talking about your hair. I'm not sure, because guys' hair it's all there, but it's just a little bit thinner than it used to be.
It's definitely.
It's not, it's still fine. Like, you wouldn't really know, but it's a little bit thinner. If you've known him for this amount of time, you notice it. You pick up on it. It's just a little bit thinner than it used to be. And I think we were talking about that, and we sort of spoke about. This was back in Wellington. This was like 8 years ago, or something, 7 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know. And it was like. Maybe I should go and get the hair implants or the hair treatment, And you said, sure, well, that's great. But the thing is that if you're not getting the implants and instead you're taking the supplements and doing all that stuff, the laser surgery and the laser treatment and the supplements, the thing is that you're messing with your testosterone. Like, you're mucking around with your testosterone levels. That's what the pills you're taking are, to make your hair grow. And the fact of the matter is that when you start fucking around with that stuff, that you start becoming a bit more susceptible to the likes of colon cancer and testicular cancer and these types of things. And at the end of the day, it's just not worth risking your life and dying for vanity.
Yep.
You're risking your life for vanity, and that really stuck with me. I was like, 100%. Like, why? You're right. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So really now the only option is implants. Unless they've advanced the science.
Well, I'm just saying, he could be just the same as the other, Mark Strong, who we talked about, who's the guy who has just wigs for every occasion. Samuel L. Jackson, wigs for every occasion. He's just got the wig man. He goes, look, to this movie, I'm going to have hair. This movie, I'm not going to have hair. That's all there is to it. Billy Zane could have done that. They didn't need to give him that silly dunce's hat because, they were like, oh, we can't have bald chubby Billy Zane being the badass in this Zombie Killers movie.
Yeah, it was Brendan Fraser in The Mummy, by the way.
Well, apparently he's got hair implants.
Right, I believe it. There you go. See, this is where all the confusion was coming from. I had a story, like when I was doing... I did a movie called Ghost TV.
Yeah.
Immediately prior to doing I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. And I had grown my hair out for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, so I had to look like a balding nerd. Yeah. And normally I just shaved it, I've been shaving it for ages, but I grew it out for that role. And then I got cast in Ghost TV, which was sort of immediately prior to I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, but I was meant to be this much more handsome kind of like TV presenter kind of guy, in Ghost TV. And then so what happened was, it was like, well, I've got this ridiculous receding hair. How can I be the attractive leading man and have this ridiculous receding hair?
Yeah.
And the answer was, I was in a hat for 99% of the film. 99% of the film, this guy's just wearing a hat. Like, he's just constantly wearing this, like, silver hat. This silver, like, I don't know, bowler hat or whatever you call it. And then the only time you ever see the hair is at the very end of the film.
Right.
When there's some action and some scuffles and, the hat gets knocked off. Yeah, and that's got to be a big distraction for the viewer.
What, when the hat comes off?
When the hat finally comes off and you're like, well, he's so bald and like, why do we... Why didn't we see
Why do
this
we care
earlier?
about this character?
Why didn't we see this earlier?
Why do we know about this? We've been betrayed.
Yeah.
We thought he was this handsome young guy.
Actually, he's a bold pervert.
We've been
He's a disgusting shiny, a disgusting fucking shiner. That's what they call us, shiners.
Is that true? You just made that
I
up.
kind of made that up.
You've coined that term now.
Yeah.
Shiner.
Yeah. Well, I like
That's good.
Shinies. That's what I like.
Well, I know they're making a film in Dunedin. Have you heard about this one?
Hey, have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
It looks really funny, but it's a very low budget production. But it's basically where baldness has been
Oh
outlawed.
yeah. I saw. I think I saw a trailer for it.
It does look very funny. Like
Yeah.
it's a very funny concept.
That's by the Bremner Bros, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it by them?
Yeah, it's Kirk Bremner. I thought it was Kirk Bremner and his mate. And his.
Don't know if it is.
Oh, okay.
I think it's someone different.
All right.
Pretty sure it's someone different. But anyway, they've been working on that for a long time. But
Yeah.
it's a pretty funny concept of like in the future, baldness is just they kill people who are bald.
Yeah, baldness has been made illegal, and so all these like bald guys have to hide it.
Yeah,
and
and
they've got to
conceal
have
it.
like clandestine meetings to exchange wigs and like buying a wig is like buying drugs, and all this stuff. It's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Very very funny.
But yeah, so what we're saying is, Harley needs to go and get some fine wigs made.
Well, I was talking to Angie the other day about I was like, maybe we should swing by Thailand again, or like Mexico or somewhere. Get the old hair implants, just slap them in.
Well, the problem, right? Well, the problem with that is obviously, who knows how well they're going to do it in Thailand. I mean,
Well, no, you'd go to a reputable place. There's many
Sure.
reputable places over there where people go over there specifically for cosmetic surgery, and their business relies on their reputation.
Well, I guess the issue with that is that my understanding is like hair implants have to be redone.
Right.
Like, one, I don't think they grow, obviously.
Yeah.
So you have to have the same haircut.
Zombie hair. Zombie hair.
So you have to have the same hairstyle. So you got to pick your hair off the bat, and go. This is it.
This
I'm
is the
sticking with it."
hairstyle.
You can't just go a number one. Like one day, go fuck it. I'm going to number one.
Worse still. Picture this. You say, okay, so on top, I want to have, say, like, 2 inches of hair.
Yeah.
Right, so you got 2 inches of hair,
Yeah.
and then you're feeling lazy. You don't quite get around to getting a haircut, but of course the sides of your hair are still growing, but the top of your hair doesn't grow; it stays 2 inches long. So the sides of your hair is 4 inches long, but the top's 2 inches long. It's gonna look fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
You got to be wary of that. For sure.
And then on top of that, you can't just go to a regular old barber and be like, "Hey, cut my hair," because they'll cut the wrong bit.
Yeah.
You've got to go into a special, expensive barber and be like, "Hey, yes, I need my hair cut, but I've got hair implants, and you know about this, so
don't fuck with the top, bro.
Don't, exactly,
Do not fuck with the top.
Don't get
bro.
any ideas. Don't get any fucking ideas. Nobody likes a hero, man. This is not your time to express your creativity, man.
Just threatening the barber, threatening him right off the bat, like this cost me a lot of money.
Well, I think it costs way more to go to that barber as well, because I had a mate who got like a wig.
Yeah.
But it looked very good, but it was just a wig.
Yeah.
That was the issue, was that he had to, whenever he wanted to go for a haircut, right, he had to go into this special place where they charge him 5 times as much.
Yeah.
And they would peel his wig off, which was kind
Really?
of like, it's kind of a permanent-ish thing.
Yeah.
Permanent-ish. They sort of leave it there, basically until every couple of months or whatever, they peel it off, they cut the hair, they kind of spruce it up, and then stick it back down,
Right.
put it back on, And he showed me one time, he peeled up the front of it, and it looked fucking disgusting. It was disgusting. It was like he was peeling, it was like he was scalping himself.
Yeah.
Because you could kind of peel up the front of it. And the way around that, the way to hide it was he'd always have ever so slightly, just a very slight fringe, just a little bit of hair hanging forward
Nice.
to cover it,
Nice.
but I mean, it looked really good, but yeah, it just looked like a lot of fucking work too.
Yeah. Well, see, with the hair implants, so you get them, and they're probably gonna look good, right? But then you've got this issue that eventually they're all just gonna come out. From what I understand, and then you just have to redo it again.
Yeah, and it costs thousands of dollars, obviously.
I heard a story about how Roseanne ripped out Tom Arnold's hair plugs and just got them in,
Right.
And she ripped him out in a
Right.
fight that they were having.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You bitch, these guys, you do have, I don't understand what I went through to get these in here."
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
So, because Simon Pegg, I think he's a hair implant
dude.
guy.
Yeah, right.
Now he kind of rocks like a semi-longer sort of style. Looks all right.
Yeah.
Have you seen his hair recently?
I've only seen The World's End.
Yeah, so he had him in that.
Yeah,
but
right.
it was kind of, he had his hair dyed as well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
So, I mean, on the bright side, you have a lot of hair from them to make your hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hair.
Back hair and
there's a lot
so
of
on,
else. Well,
yeah.
I think that's what they do. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, I think they do. They take it from your butt and they put it on your hair.
Yeah, so what? But where did Simon Pegg get the longer hair from? Like, how's it so long?
No, I think it must grow. Maybe it depends which part of your body it's in.
Maybe it
So
does
they take
grow.
it. Maybe they take it from your butt, and it's real hair.
Yeah.
It's your hair. They implant it in your head, and because it's, I don't know, on your scalp or something, maybe it grows.
Yeah. Maybe it does
longer than
grow
it
a
would
bit.
grow on your butt.
Yeah.
Although it does grow pretty long on my butt. So I think I'd probably be okay. Especially if I was only aiming for a couple of inches on top, that's easy. In fact, I'd need a haircut.
Like, just imagine, like, Angie running her hand through your new luscious hair, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually from your back. She's just so essentially she's just rubbing her hand through your back here, but it's actually on your head.
Yeah, well, my butt hair, man.
Or your butt
my
hair.
butt hair. Yeah. Well, see, my biggest concern really is not really getting it done.
No concern about the scalp pull
It's
up.
not really about the money. It's none of that stuff. I'm really not bothered about all of that. What I'm really concerned about is the fact of the matter is I would have to start appearing in photos, and in these photos they would end up going on Facebook because I'm a bit of a Facebooker.
Yeah.
And it's like you'd make a big deal about it, you make a big joke about it, but at the end of the day, I'm still announcing to the world, "Hey, everybody, I'm so insecure about my hairline that I'm going to go out and spend thousands of dollars and really inconvenience myself."
Yeah.
And it's not a commendable. It's not something you appreciate in a person. I don't think. You kind of go, yeah. Well, maybe you should just be comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just
live with it.
be natural, man. Like,
Yep.
like it's much more kind of commendable to just
Definitely.
see somebody say, "Oh man, I'm bald and I'm just going to rock it."
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who goes, I'm gonna insert my butt hair onto my head,
So you don't know that
so
I'm
that you
bald.
don't know that I'm bald, but you do because everybody knows because of fucking Facebook. Like look at the photos of me from 2 years ago. Look at me now. I've got a luscious head of hair.
You basically got to take off all your photos.
Yeah.
And even just get rid of them. Or Photoshop on a bit of hair on top.
Well, the trick would be
And then just never acknowledge.
the trick would be to do it when you were having a big life change. So, say for example, Pigville moved to London, and we swung by Thailand on the way. Now that would be the time to get hair implants. Get the hair implants. You're meeting new people. All of these people don't know. They've got no idea.
Yeah.
And then of course they look at your Facebook, but who really goes and looks through too many. You're not going to look that far back through the Facebook.
Yeah.
Most people won't ever know.
No. They never will.
Yeah. So.
It's very interesting. Well, we'll see how this all progresses.
Well, that's the thing. I'm only getting older too. I'm 32 now, right?
Yeah.
It reaches a certain point where you kind of go, well,
There's no point.
there's just no point anymore. Like, there's no point. Fuck it. Like,
Well, what do you
why-
think the cutoff is? What do you think the cutoff is when you're a guy, right? Where you just accept that you're no longer attractive to women?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it 45?
Well, that's the thing, though. I really do think it's up to the individual because, like, if a 45-year-old man can still be very attractive to women of all ages if he's looked after himself and he's,
Good shape.
He's in good shape and he's a nice guy. He can still be very attractive to everybody. So, I don't think there's really a cutoff. I think it's more about there's a certain level of physical maintenance, and once you stop doing that certain level of physical maintenance and become a fat piece of bald shit, that is when you've got to acknowledge it. So it changes. It comes at a different time for every man.
Right. Because, I do accept that, like, there is a point where you just go, like, this whole thing, my whole life, I've been obsessed with this thing of how I look to other people, how I come across. Do I seem like not all superficial, like, do I seem cool? Like, do I look okay?
Yeah.
What do they think when they see me?
Yeah.
And at some point in the aging process, you literally just have to throw that in the bin.
Just go, fuck
which
it.
is it really defined you to a high degree up until that point. And you just have to go,
Yeah.
all right, I just look like shit. So you're gonna either judge me negatively because I look like shit, or you're just gonna not judge me on that aspect anymore. And I just have to live the rest of my life in that phase.
Yeah. I went to a party last night. Simon Ward, who acted in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, he plays the AD in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Yep.
He had a party last night. I went along and I didn't take a hat and I haven't shaved my head. And basically I was just rocking the look like shit look. And and
The Harley classic.
the look like shit look. So but yeah, it was good. It was, I guess I really just didn't care. I was like, who am I going to meet here that I give a shit about whether or not they can see their reflection in my bald fucking head? Who gives a fuck? I don't care what you think. And then I got there was heaps of really trendy young people. Like I was surprised because it wasn't Simon's party, but I was expecting, I don't know, a more mature audience because Simon's a couple of years older than us.
Yes.
And then it was all these like really trendy, hipsterish, like young people, I really didn't fit in.
Did you feel bad at that point? Did you kind of go,
I should have worn a hat.
Did you kind of regret it a little bit?
Nah, I didn't. In all honesty, I didn't. I just rocked it.
Full respect.
I just rocked it.
No apologies.
But I do think that, perhaps I've reached a stage in my life where I walk into a room and I can't kid myself into thinking that the women in the room all secretly, want to sleep with me. Like I've got, for years I could convince myself of that.
That's what you thought in your head.
Whereas now I'm like, literally, I'm pretty sure that when I walked into that party last night, if any women even noticed me, they noticed the old guy, that old bald guy, possibly homeless. That's what they noticed.
It wandered it off the street.
Yeah, that was what they noticed.
That was their thought.
I don't think they were considering having sex with me.
Yeah. So you've taken one step into that phase.
Yeah.
There's one foot.
Yeah.
1 foot in the grave.
1 foot in the fucking grave.
Well, the looks grave. The good-looking grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, it's something we're all going to have to accept at some point. And we just got to hope that our personality and charm can overcome our hideous visage.
But your personality and charm is fucking useless if they won't talk to you in the first place because you're a bold old shit. Because you're a bold old man.
Yeah.
Hey ladies, how's it going? When I'm not going to talk to you.
We cannot.
I'm sorry.
We can't engage with you.
I'm sure you're very charming.
And funny,
but this is
you've got a good personality.
I'll tell you straight off the bat, this is going nowhere.
This conversation is 100% not working. All right, well, I do have to go.
Yeah, well, you're 13 minutes late for work.
I'm running a little bit late, but it's time for us to be off. But it's been another fascinating Guy and Harley podcast. And we hope to see you next week.
Yep, so very, very important. I Survived a Zombie Holocaust is still out right now. It's on DVD, it's on iTunes, and there is one more Auckland cinema screening, and I reckon there might be a few extra seats coming for that. So please, guys, go along, see it, hire it at your local DVD store, hire it on iTunes, buy it preferably. So please, really do check it out because it's very, very, very important to us, and we worked on it for a very, very, very long time.
And also, don't be afraid. Reviews in iTunes and Mighty Ape.
Yep.
5-star
that shit.
Yeah, just write it up, do it up big. That's what we need.
Also, there is something else.
All right.
Rad. Nah, I lost it. Go.
All right, that's us.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
I was going to say there's a brand new video coming out. Today for you is Sunday, but on Monday there's a brand new video coming out. It's a short documentary about Pigville, about the process, our lives, about the process of getting this film made. It's only 5 minutes long. It's on our YouTube. It's on our Facebook. So be sure to check that out, please, and hit share.
You'll get to see Harley in his various phases of hair. So you get to see him with hair,
without
hair. You get to see him with a little bit of hair, and then no hair.
And then heaps of hair on my beard, and none on my head.
So you can look at this transition and make the decision for yourself.
Yeah.
And how you feel about him.
Yeah.
When you see him.
So yes, please check that out. That's on our YouTube, and hit share.
Thank you very much.
And yet you did not have the wit to see it. Your love of the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.